The first Xbox 360, which to you might mean alternatively, it could also mean,
hey Ben, check this out, man. You ever seen this era before?
This is perfect Walmart advertising for you.
Now, why would anybody buy a Wii over a hardcore system like the Xbox 360? I don't know. You tell me.
but very likely it means both. How likely?
Effectively, the failure rate was near 100%. It just became an epidemic.
I'd call that very likely. The Xbox 360's Red Ring of Death needs no introduction. Except for the fact that it does, because half of you guys probably weren't even born until the whole fiasco was over. The Red Ring of Death is this. These three lights lit up on the front of a fat Xbox 360. Fat meaning not these ones. According to Microsoft, when these lights light up, it means that there's been a general hardware failure. In reality, it means you're fucked. Back in 2007, it would go down like this. Your Xbox 360 red rings. Doesn't work, doesn't do anything, it's dead. You call up Michael in Redmond and he says, yeah, I already knew this was gonna happen. And he sends you a cardboard box and a FedEx shipping label. And people became so familiar with these specific boxes that they started referring to them as the cardboard coffins, since even after getting your replacement 360 a few days later, really it was only a matter of time before you had to lay that one to rest too. There were plenty of home remedy fixes for a red-ringed Xbox, but whether they worked for you or not was really based off of nothing but luck and how well you handle withdrawals. Typically, these fixes would come in the form of things like fan mods, chucking the motherboard in the oven and praying, or bolt mods that put extra pressure between the GPU and the heatsink, which permanently bends your motherboard. But I mean, hey, he's already dead. Why not defile a corpse for a little more Viva Pinata time? Some other honorable mentions include the towel trick, which had you wrap the whole Xbox in a towel to make it experience its own personal heat death and subsequent rebirth into an Xbox with 2 more days left to live. And then some people were doing some weird shit with pennies or something. I don't know. I was a wee kid. I was too busy being wholesome. By far, though, the most interesting red ring fix that I've ever seen was one that took some old wisdom to heart.
All toasters toast.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Benjamin Franklin. Probably. I guess that technically doesn't make it a fix then, but you get the idea. This is the XB01. What happened to the video? Oh my god, we ran out of budget and they shut the power off. Alright, hold on 1 second while I pay for the video with today's sponsor, Displate! Paper posters are frustrating, to say the least. Staples and tacks can damage your poster, and they also just work their way out after a while. Plus, good luck getting it level on the first try. All of that, and they can fade over time, too. These problems and a whole lot of others are solved with Displate's steel posters. They never fade, and they only take seconds to hang. No staples, no tacks, no nails, just magnetic plates that stick to your wall. And since it's just a magnet, you can extremely easily swap out one Displate poster for another. These mounting plates also leave no residue when you take them off, and cause no damage to your wall. Gifting season is coming up, and Displate has over 2 million posters, including ones from franchises like Portal, Doom, and Team Fortress 2. They've even got stuff from Marvel, Star Wars, even NASA. Displate has also recently launched their new Textra line of posters. Tactile textures, 3D contours, both matte and gloss elements. They are really pushing the limits of what a poster is. With something for everybody, Displate has your gifting needs covered. Go to displate.com/Bringus Studios or use code Bringus Studios at checkout in order to get up to 36% off your order. This is the XB01. It's a full aftermarket chassis for the fat Xbox 360 that was created by Lian Li in order to combat the Xbox 360's noise and heat levels. And no, Lian Li is not a person. Oh my god, oh I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Lian Li is a computer case manufacturer that dabbles in weird shit from time to time. They made the snail PC, the PC that looks like that one old Android emoji. Fucking this. They're in a better headspace now. In fact, I use a modern Lian Li case myself. But lucky for us, out of that derangement period, we got the XB01. We're gonna go over to quietpc.com now. Let's see what they have to say about the XB01. The Xbox 360 is without doubt one of the best next-generation gaming consoles available. The only problem is that the console is renowned as being noisy. This is where the Lian Li XB01B comes in. Once the components have been transferred from one to the other, the noise reduction is immediately obvious. So it seems like they're talking a lot more about how it just makes it quieter, not necessarily... Oh wait, no, here it is. The Xbox 360 has been plagued with overheating problems. Okay, I was wondering if they were gonna get to the overheating bit. If you have ever suffered the red ring of death, you will know exactly what that means. Microsoft have made revisions to the console to help tackle this issue. One reason for the overheating problem is the fact that the Xbox chassis is very small.
Completely wrong.
The two 80mm fans spin very fast to remove the warm air inside the console. This leads to another issue, noise. Okay, so they're not completely wrong about this stuff.
Completely wrong.
The optical drive is also very noisy, so to combat this, Lian Li have placed acoustic foam in strategic places to help reduce noise and vibration. It does not make the Xbox quiet while reading a DVD or CD. So the point of that was... What? Okay, this is under reviews from Total PC Gaming. Who is that? I don't know. Total PC Gaming issue 1. Okay, so this is a magazine. Keep glancing an eye over the sexy lines of the XB01 and rest assured that once the guts of your console are in pride of place, it will do exactly what it promises. Sexy lines, huh? I mean, it kind of just goes like straight, 90-degree straight lines. Okay, we get it, bro. You're straight. As intriguing as the XB01 is, as far as I can tell, it really wasn't that popular. You can find a pretty good amount of info about it online, but for the most part, it's only going to be from review sites or long dead pages from online retailers. There's very little online forum discussion from actual end users of the case. It's a shame that nobody's made a long-winded YouTube video exploring the thing. Oh wait, that's my job. The stuff you find at Big Lots, am I right? Now that I think about it, a joke about how it looks like a giant brick of drugs would be more appropriate. The stuff you can buy from people off 3rd and Pike, am I right? This isn't the only brick. 203 watts. That might not sound like a lot, but for the Xbox 360, this is the thickum. And as you know, with different console revisions, usually they make them more efficient, so they need smaller power adapters. And since this is the big one, the Xbox that is currently installed inside of here, as you can see by these here ports, could very well be a launch model. Oh wait, actually, I think that's an HDMI. So maybe not the launch model, but like the one a little after, you know? But there's only one way to find out. Handcrafted in Taiwan. Now, these are not something I thought I was gonna see. These are the things that you can stick tubes through when you're doing water cooling. You could water cool an Xbox 360 with this case, which also means that a water block for the Xbox 360 exists. I can't even imagine how difficult that is to get your hands on nowadays. Look at this little, like, paper I/O shield. That is really weird. I'm guessing this would have come with 2 of those. One of them for the launch model that did not have HDMI, and then one for this one. We're missing a screw. That's a fantastic start. But here she is. Are there 2 DVD drives? This one does the thing. Oh, it goes like that. That's not USB. Ah, those are the memory card slots. That would make sense. USB is down there, which means USB on here would be at the bottom. Wait, which side's the bottom? This side. Yes. And there they are. Good old USB. So then this has to be the DVD drive. We've solved our first few mysteries, but there are still questions yet to be answered. Questions like, what's inside the Lian Li Xbox 360? Whew, now that's a duct. Look at this. This is like freshly laid snow that's never been walked on. And then some asshole comes along and goes, dog hair. Okay, well, it's not clean in here, but it's not disgusting. I think the worst of it is down in that corner there. That's not too bad. Okay, where do we begin? Oh, that's kind of weird. There's a sticker that's preventing me from undoing a screw. Weren't these like DIY though? Did Lian Li sell pre-built versions? that could also have been put there by the person I bought it from? I don't know. Well, I hope you enjoyed being secured, because you're not anymore. Fuck it. Makes my Xbox insecure. You're just unreliable, just like your father. Then this comes out. Easy enough. This is just one very riveted piece of sheet metal. Pretty cool. Pretty dusty. But we do have a clear shot of the motherboard now. If you have a 203 watt power supply, which we have, and you have an HDMI port, you have a Zephyr, which means we very likely have a bad one. What is going on over here? Huh? Oh, I think this is the inside of the hard drive thing. You know, this big old blocky boy? And then DVD drive mounted up here. I'd be shocked if it works. I know some of these are more reliable than others, but I don't know how to determine which one this is. Because I figured we could just do something like this, like look at the label on it. But weirdly, it's gonna be tough for you to see, but they removed the label. It's literally just a piece of gray sheet metal in there. Oh, wait a second. No, it's there. It's just caked in 10,000 pounds of dust. The people must know. It's BenQ! I think that's a good one. Wait, hold on. Phillips part number? I'm getting mixed messages. Okay, well, while I have that out. That is exactly what I remember 2007 smelling like. That's crazy. I guess I should not have touched this. Yeah, it is coated in fingerprints now. Actually, upon checking the footage, it was not me. Look, it was already like that. Nothing I have tried will get it off. I tried a regular spray cleaner, no. Isopropyl alcohol, no. Goo Gone, no. Some dude on Google said lemon juice, no. So, oops. All right, what are the odds that it doesn't red ring? Oh, come on. You couldn't make it easy, could ya? I guess it's time for the solution. This is not the first time I've done this, and something tells me it's not gonna be the last. And here I was thinking lobotomies were illegal. Okay, lawmaker, watch this. Now hold on, before you finish writing that comment. It worked, didn't it? Oh, hey, look at that! It turns on! And it's actually significantly more updated than I expected. I mean, I wasn't expecting blades or anything, but there appears to be a little bit of artifacting in the capture window. Okay, never mind. It was just the capture card. It looks fine. But for how long? Okay, well, there's one thing that I have to know. What if I told you that there's a solid chance that whoever put this thing together did so for no reason at all? I mean, just building an Xbox into this thing just because it looks cool is a valid enough reason, I will admit. But you know how they said that this thing was going to help prevent red ring and improve the cooling and all that? Well, okay, hold on. We'll get to that. Whoa! The return of the comically long bolt. I think we're going on 3 consoles now that had a comically long bolt. Very nice, very nice. But I think that should do it. Out you come. Okay, nice. It's not bolt modded. Oh, but there's a bug in there. Do you see that? What are you doing? No! Not in my Lian Li Xbox, you don't. Okay, so the reason I took the motherboard out of this thing is because I want to see exactly which GPU we have. According to what I've read online, this variation of the Xbox 360 motherboard could have come with a couple of different GPUs. It could have a GPU that could absolutely decimate this thing at any moment, or it could be the fixed GPU, and we will never have to worry about red ring ever. And this is what I meant by this person might have done this whole thing for no reason. What are the odds that this motherboard had a fixed GPU? I got this tool to get these off. I don't actually know how to use it. One moment.
And just lift it up. That's how you do it.
Okay, it's that easy? All right, Strawberry Sherbert 96. We'll see if it really is that easy. Strawberry Shortcake 96 is smarter than me. Oh. Oh, wait, hold on. Which one's the GPU? Which one's the CPU? No, I'm taking off the right one. Okay, we're good. But how do you get these ones? You just kind of like wiggle them off? I guess so. Okay. I don't know why I had so many brain farts there. Actually, those were worse than brain farts. That was just brain diarrhea. Wow, this is one funky heatsink. Come on out, little buddy. So now, here's the moment of truth to find out if whoever built this thing was a fool. It looks like our GPU is a X02127-006. And which one is that? After a little research, it turns out that this is the Y2 variant of the GPU. You can see our part number right there. And by doing one Google search, this chip contains a design defect, reliability issues, and premature failure of the chip. So whoever put this Xbox into the Lian Li case at least had a reason to be concerned and want to try it. Man, wouldn't it be really funny though if this was one of the fixed GPUs, so there was no point in them ever doing this? And you know what? Even though this was not a fixed GPU, it's still funny, because no matter what Xbox they put into this case, it was never gonna stop Red Ring. So the early Xbox 360 GPUs had a few issues, most notably their tendency to eat and die. Normally the reason given for this is just high heat, but that's not the full story. Around the time of the 360's launch, TSMC, the manufacturer of the Xbox 360's GPU, was facing difficulties with the adhesion promoter that helped connect the die of the GPU to the PCB that the die sits on, called the substrate. And this resulted in a weaker than expected bond. But that's still only one piece of the problem. After the die is connected to the substrate, an epoxy called the underfill is applied to give the whole connection some strength. The underfill cures and hardens during manufacturing, but there is still a point where it can get hot enough to soften and shift around a bit even after curing. TSMC had mistakenly used an underfill that not only doesn't play nice with the high lead solder bumps that connect the die and the substrate, but that underfill also softened at a lower temperature than normal. A temperature that happened to be right inside of what the GPU operates at. You kinda don't want that softening and shifting to happen, but when the connection between the die and the substrate happens to be weaker than expected, you really don't want that to happen. Every time an affected Xbox 360 was used, that underfill, which is supposed to be giving the connection strength and structure, would soften, shift, and re-harden, weakening the structure of that already weak connection. Eventually, the individual solder bumps would start to disconnect. Imagine if you took a CPU with pins on the bottom like this, and you just, cut a few of those bad boys off and then put it right back in the motherboard. It was kinda like that. That is what breaks the GPU, which is what causes the red ring of death. And so you might think, what if you just took a brand new launch model Xbox 360 out of its box on day one and threw the motherboard into an industrial wind turbine so that it didn't get the GPU hot enough to ever cause that underfill to soften? Well, you'd be totally fine. No red ring for you, right? Well, yeah, but the day you got your launch model Xbox 360 was not day one. You see, at the factory, the consoles are stress tested after assembly, and that stress testing was day one. Your Xbox 360 was literally born into this world, immediately experiencing the fires of hell that would lead to its eternal damnation in the Microsoft bone pile. Once that underfill had been cooked for the first time and the solder bumps started to disconnect, it was over. At that point, it was no longer about the peak temperature that your console would reach, it was about the number of heat cycles that the GPU would go through. No matter how many fan mods or case mods or any other weird tricks that you did to keep your console alive, it never mattered. You were fighting a battle that you had already lost from the factory. And with every... you were sending your 360 that much further into its grave. An interesting footnote to this whole fiasco is that this issue wasn't specific to the Xbox 360 at all. Using a low temperature underfill in tandem with high lead solder bumps plus a poor adhesion promoter was the same mistake that caused the yellow light of death on launch model PlayStation 3s, and it also made 7000 and 8000 NVIDIA GeForce GPUs, as well as 3000 and 4000 series ATI Radeon GPUs completely crap out. Even some Northbridge chips on motherboards were affected. This whole series of failures is referred to now as Bumpgate, if you wanted to read more about it. So based on everything that we know about the Red Ring of Death, even though this motherboard and GPU currently work fine, its days are still numbered. And goddammit, I want this Lian Li Xbox 360 to live forever. So here's my solution to that. Let me tell you a thing or two about the Jasper. If your Xbox 360 has a power connector with 2 split pieces like this right on top, congratulations, it's a Jasper. What does that mean? It means you've got yourself a bulldozer, dude. This thing's gonna run forever. The Jasper is the only variant of the fat Xbox 360s that is guaranteed to have a reliable GPU that will not red ring, probably. Again, these things are getting kind of old now, so while the GPU is fixed, they can still have weird issues. However, your best bet is far and away the Jasper. And this one is kind of fucked up, which makes it an excellent candidate for a motherboard swap for the Lian Li, so that it can live forever. Imagine if all of the Xbox 360s lived forever. They would just reproduce uncontrollably, like I did with your mom after she saw my KD. The Xbox 360 population would be out of control. Sorry, fat Xbox 360s. You can't all live forever. I got this fancy tool for opening up the Xbox 360. You can tell that's what it's for, because it's X360 opening tool. Huh, look at this. I looked up Xbox 360 disassembly, and the first result is jerry-rig everything from 10 years ago.
Yep, now this other 3 on the Xbox has these little clasps.
This is so cursed. Well, he just like used the little one of these things to just pop them all individually, so I guess I'm gonna just do them all at once and then separate the halves? I don't think I'm the first person to take this thing apart, but I will be the last. It's loosey-goosey now. Bada boom. There's 2 more over here. Ha ha, that's what the 2 offset ones are for. Ha ha ha. Oh, out you come. All right, Jerry of Jerry Rig everything. What's next? Whoa, what the heck? Every time I have to swap to a non-LTT bit, it feels like using a third-party controller. Oh, there she is, folks. Magnificent. 6 screws should set it free. Yep, thank you very much. Oh, I screwed something up at some point. Mysterious clip that is no longer going to be clipping onto anything. I guess that's just how the Xbox crumbles. Literally. Well, this is filthy. We're just gonna... There we go. Thank you for your services, Zach, but I think I've got it from here.
Bringus Studios survives my durability test.
Fun fact about the RF board on the Xbox 360 here. So this is what connects the controllers wirelessly to the console. And I've never done this before, but I've been told that you can take this connector off, solder in a USB cable in its place, and then just plug this into your computer and you can use it like one of those Xbox 360 wireless adapters. That might be kind of a fun project to try later, because I think we can just reuse the old one. They're slightly different revisions of the same part number, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. Whoops. Another victim of brittle plastic. Luckily, we don't need it. Oh, this is weird. It's just like a block of 2 fans. Honestly, this seems like it would be kind of decent to replace the fans on like a smaller GPU. That's kind of cool. I'm holding on to this. Okay, that should do it. Ah, my little Jasper. My perfect child. The chosen one. Actually, I take that all back. It's not perfect. You want to know why? It's not modded. You know what channel you're watching, right? To be fair, I guess it can be confusing sometimes. This is the Matrix Glitcher V1. It's a mod chip, I guess. It does the G in RGH. And now I gotta figure out how to install it. Save me, Mr. Mario. He recommends doing the thermal paste. Yeah, I know. Repasting is like having to do my laundry. Like, yeah, I know, I gotta do it for general cleanliness, but do I want to? No. All right, you guys have already seen me suffer through this part, so we're just gonna... Okay, thermal paste done. That wasn't too tough. So this is not the board I was just talking about. This is our programmer, and it has to get soldered to the board so we can dump our NAND. Our NAND is where the operating system and other bullshit like that lives.
We're going to need to connect this to our computer and get it all set up. I'll show you how to do that.
Need a computer. I want this to go well, so we're gonna use my actual, real, not weird computer. So I guess we just connect the USB cable to this guy. Oh, okay, that's a fantastic sign. No drivers, huh? That's okay. We've got... Oh, this is gonna suck. I really need to set up a Windows 7 laptop just for this purpose. On Windows 8, 10, and 11, you cannot install unsigned drivers without doing some fuckery, but luckily said fuckery has been included as a tutorial as a docx file in this driver pack. They already knew it was going to be awful. We just gotta run a bunch of commands. I just realized that these aren't even working. Okay, I don't know why BCD edit is just not working. That's like really not good. Okay, we're gonna do this the other way. Huh? There's supposed to be an option that lets me turn off driver signature enforcement? Hello? That's not what I want. Christmas came early for the ThinkPad enjoyers. New Bringus Studios character, ThinkPad T420. Funny number. You know, I can't really tell if switching to this thing is taking the easy way out or taking the hard way out. This driver is not digitally signed. That's fine. Just do it anyway. And look at that. Windows 7, everybody. They just don't make them like they used to anymore. Oh, that looks kind of annoying. Let's see if we can fix that flicker. The only way to even kind of fix the flicker makes the video look like this. Jeez, at this rate, I might as well just record with the built-in webcam. Yeah, you're gonna have to just suffer. Oh, I guess the flicker is just fixed now? Yes. Suffering canceled. So now we just read? Oh, it's going. Well, this isn't so bad. You know, I just had to dig up a laptop from the prehistoric age, but it could be worse, I guess. Folks, we have an and. I think I finally clawed my way out of Xbox 360 hell. I have spent the last several hours with the motherboard. We now have a glitch chip, which is programmed. All of the wires that go all over the freaking place on this thing. And that's it. That was several hours of work. Thank you, Mr. Mario 2011. Thank you, The Weekend Modder. And thank you, Console Mods Wiki. This was very confusing to piece together the process for. As someone coming into this that's never done anything with the 360 before, there are so many different glitch chips, so many different programmers, so many different places you can wire this thing up at, so many different motherboard variations. There's a lot to figure out, but I think I have figured it out. But there's only one way to be sure. All right, Xbox. Please don't let this all be for nothing.
And your console should light up green. If it does, congratulations, you're in a very good spot.
Mine is not doing that. You can't really see it, but over on the RF board here, it's just blinking at me.
This is a fat console, I'm just bridging those two pads.
I didn't do that. Alright, take two. Oh, there we go! Oh, this is fancy. I'm so happy that that's all that was. I was like, come on, dude. I took my time with this one. And there it is, the magic numbers. Time to put it back together. So it's pretty close to being put back together now, but there is still one missing component. We don't have a hard drive. And after looking at some pictures online, I determined that we are also missing the caddy for the hard drive. There's supposed to be a little spot with a metal bracket right up here where the hard drive mounts, and we got completely screwed out of that. So I designed this little bracket of my own, which bolts into this hard drive, which is a 1 terabyte hard drive that is straight out of the PS4 Pro from the last video. Don't think I'm gonna be needing that anymore. And the hard drive will mount right up to the back right here with these holes. Then we can plug in the weird little SATA thing. Just like that, we got a hard drive. With our Lian Li Xbox 360 in its final form, I'm not water cooling it. One question remains. Does it do what it was advertised to do? I'd look up the archived product page for it on the Wayback Machine, but literal fucking garbage human beings keep hacking them and taking the service down. So we'll go off of this single line from the Newegg product page that's somehow still standing. This system is quieter and more efficient, thus improving the lifespan of your product by keeping components at a lower temperature. Breaking that down, we've got quieter, more efficient. This one is a little too vague to really comment on. Do they mean their 120mm fan consumes less watts than the stock dual 70mm fans? Or do they mean that their duct is more efficient at moving air across the heat sinks than the stock one? Well, I sure hope not, because look at these gaps. You could fit your mom in there, once per side. Doesn't look too efficient to me. Improving the lifespan of your product. We covered this earlier. This case will not prevent red ring. False. Keeping components at a lower temperature. This one might have some weight to it. If they're referring to everything in here that isn't the CPU and GPU, then yeah, those parts are likely gonna get marginally more air passing over them and they'll stay at a lower temperature than stock, sure. The CPU and GPU though? I would like you to observe something. I have taped over a significant portion of the front intake. This rectangle here is the only place air can get in. I even got the backside. Now let's take a look at the temperatures. They have settled around about 64 to 65 C for the processor and 70 to 71 C for the graphics. Now you would think if we took the tape off and gave this thing more airflow, it would start cooling those down. Well, let's see. All right, all the tape is removed. Now I'm just gonna give it a couple minutes to get the temperatures to some sort of equilibrium. Well, that's weird. Our GPU is at pretty much the same temperature. The Xbox 360's cooling fan operates on a temperature target. Once the GPU hits around 71 degrees Celsius, or the CPU hits around 80 degrees Celsius, the console will automatically kick the fan speed up until the offending component is back to its target temperature. However, the inverse is also true. That means in situations where the console has better access to cold air, it will prioritize quieting down rather than running cooler. That's also why we saw a change in the CPU temperature, but not the GPU temperature. Since the GPU is the component currently hitting its temperature target, the fans regulate their speed based on the GPU and let the CPU be at whatever temperature it ends up being, as long as it's under its target. It's kinda just here for the ride. Keep in mind, this behavior is going to be different based on which CPU and which GPU you have and which motherboard you have. So I'll give the XB01 a kinda but not really. The effort to improve the cooling was good, but ultimately it was in vain because of the cooling targets. No side panel at all, and we are still at about 71 C. I want to personally thank and shout out Josh Davidson, or Octal450, for providing me with a lot of information, mainly the section about how red ring happens. If you caught any mistakes throughout the video, trust me, they're from me. This dude knows what he's talking about. Lucifella asks, how many computers do you own? Oh boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's a motherboard in here, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Hey, do you have the keys to the storage unit? 23, 24, 25. 26? No, that doesn't count. 26, 27, 28. And I probably still missed a bunch. Okay, continuing on. Danger Duck asks, can you show me your current favorite thingy/computer? That one's easy. It's this thing. I'd like you to take a guess as to what this is. Did you say VR backpack computer? No, you fucking didn't. HP VR Backpack G2. This is technically a desktop computer. I've been using it as like a secondary gaming PC, and you wanna know something really wacky? Look at that. It's turning on. No cables, no charger, no nothing. It's turning on. It's a VR backpack computer. There are batteries in here. Now imagine. Remember these? That's all I'm saying. And good old Cyber asks, what thing do I own that I am the most proud of owning or creating? That, also an easy one. I think that honor is going to go to the GameCube Mini V2. If you've never seen this guy, I don't really blame you at this point. This was a video I made back in the Stone Age, but there is an entire GameCube in this thing. See, look at that. And it still works. I still use it every once in a while. I just love how tiny it ended up being. Hold on, let me get a real GameCube. All right, real GameCube, GameCube Mini.
Look at this thing. It's just microscopic. Everything really just came together super well. And the filament that I used just looks so nice. Yeah, this is it. This is my prized possession.
Bye-bye.